What is up? What is up? We are back in black. What is up? Man, this dick is up. What's going on? What's going on? Another day, another 10 cents for black folk. Another let's say $350 an hour for white folk. Shout out to everybody that's handling business. Shout out to everybody that's at the corporate plantation as we speak. Man, making it do what it do. We got a lot of shit to talk about today. We gonna cram it in. Man. Shout out to everybody that's glued to their phones. These white folk done let y'all know who's really about it, huh? These white folk, we gonna get into it. It does not surprise me at all. Shout out to all the black folk that are working at the corporate plantation right now, holding it down, trying to make ends meet so they can pay the piper so they don't have to beat their feet. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that is trying to make a way out of no way, trying to turn 10 cents into $2. Shout out to everybody that is not finessing, but trying to do what they need to do to survive. Shout out to everybody that understands that racism and white supremacy is what is going on right now. And if you're not trying to establish a system of justice, then you're just wasting your time. Shout out to everybody that's handling business and reading and gaining knowledge of who they are. I'm still reading The Destruction of a Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, learning about the Funge people, the Mamluks, learning about Mansa Musa, learning about all kinds of stuff. Very, very good book. Very, very good book. So shout out to everybody that's reading. Pretty soon I want to start like a little book club. We all read the same book, maybe at different times. Once we get enough people on this podcast, I guess we can start one. But I ain't gonna zoom through it. I don't think you should zoom through books. So shout out to everybody that don't do that bullshit speed read just so you can say you read it. Because at first I was reading the books and I was obtaining the knowledge, but then I'm like, I gotta go back. Because then when you start reading other books, you're like, damn, didn't they talk about that in that book? That's why I read Two Nations. Because from reading Black Labor, White Wealth and Powernomics, you read Two Nations, you're like, damn, he said all this shit before this dude who wrote the book. So shout out to everybody that's gaining knowledge of who they are and understanding that knowledge is supposed to propel them into where they're going. Shout out to everybody. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Shout out to everybody that's at the corporate plantation that is trying to become introverted and compartmentalize how they really feel. Because I know a lot of y'all want to slap the shit out of somebody at the job. Because I know how niggas get to acting. Not just niggas. I'm talking about Europeans. You see how they acting right now. You see exactly how these white folks are letting you know exactly what they own. Because they know they going to get away with it. Hey, what's going on, Tasha? I see you. Shout out to everybody that I would say understands what the woo-wop is. And, they about to hit us with the real woo-wop. Why you up there trying to run and take that motherfucking COVID, that Slovid, scandemic, plandemic 19 bullshit? They got a real woo-wop for your ass. So shout out to everybody that understands, you know, what they about to hit upside the head with. And shout out to everybody that's watching what's going on. Don't just watch everything. In case you ain't looked at the podcast about the mammy Stacey Abrams and her mammy sister. You see Stacey Abrams and win shit. And now you just stuck your neck out for a party that don't give a fuck about y'all. And everybody mad. That's what you get. Go look at that podcast. It'll tell you all about it. Shout out to everybody that understands that you cannot do what the dominant white society does in this system of racism and white supremacy. Because as I always tweet, as Nearly Full of Jr. teaches us, I'm still learning. Hey, what's going on? 0666, I see you. Man. I want to send a special shout out to everybody that is on their health kick right now. If you got your CMOS, I had no time for CMOS today. Got so much other shit going on. So I made me some moringa tea. So long as you got the tea. Shout out to everybody that's supporting Tahuti Ma'at Ra. Ma'atRaHerbs.com. I take his shit nightly, daily, all day long, all day strong. I got love for that brother. We need to start supporting our black businesses. I'm not saying, look, you got your little $600 stimulus. Why don't you go take that $600 and go support one black business? $20, $30. Go buy you a shirt. Go buy you some natural herbs from Tahuti Ma'at Ra. He's not expensive. A lot of motherfuckers on there, I'm not saying no names, but a lot of people, man, trying to push their motherfucking vitamins online, and they trying to sell them for a whoop wop for $70 a pop. My Ira herbs is very inexpensive. I deal with them a lot. I order a lot of shit from them. So go check them out. Hey. And shout out to, last and not least, shout out to the motherfuckers that know how to keep their composure and understand that when you attain knowledge and you ascertain what you're reading, it's supposed to make you a better thinker so you can know how to respond. So shout out to all my melanated brothers and sisters that is very equipped at knowing how to respond to the dominant white society. Hey. And shout out to all you dumbass motherfuckers that sitting up there still shaming motherfuckers about voting and thinking that it's gonna change because Trump is out. Nigga, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse for black folk. So shout out to all you dumb motherfuckers too. About to cut this shit down, man. A lot is going on, man. Man, a lot is going on. Did y'all see that? That shit don't surprise me. Let's just get into it. Why would this ever surprise y'all that white folk took over the Capitol? Clive and Bundy did the same shit out here on the Federal Bureau of Reclamation land or whatever, and they stood their ground against FBI agents, and they had their guns. They was pointing their guns at the FBI agents. Nobody got shot. Nobody, because, man, it's called white privilege. It's called being on code. They're not gonna hurt their own people. And then that white supremacist who stormed the Capitol, the woman who got shot, I don't feel bad for none of them. Look, here's the thing. They always talk about, what about black on black crime? Well, what about white on white crime? That's what you get. And if black folk would have stormed, fuck the Capitol. If black folk was to storm, not the Capitol, let black folks storm Kentucky Fried Chicken at one time. Nigga, they'd shoot all y'all niggas. Let them go storm Amazon one day. They'd shoot everybody. Everybody's arrested and we throwing you under the jail. But them white folk, they can do whatever the fuck they want to do. And the reason why that is because these rules were made for us. It was made to protect them, and it was made to keep us behind the line. Everybody, see, you can start quoting the Fifth Amendment and all these rules and laws, and that's good. I'm glad you know that. But let me tell you, remember who wrote those laws? Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, all had slaves, all them, and didn't give a fuck about you. That's why niggas gotta start looking at when motherfuckers try to shame you for not standing for the national anthem and not singing the song. Be like, bro, do you know who wrote that song? Do you know that they took verses out of that song? Oh, you didn't know that. You gotta start educating. I'm talking about black folk. When it comes to a dominant white society person, please do not waste your breath trying to expose them to the truth. They know what the fuck the truth is. That's why they watching the shit as we speak. And if you notice, ain't no Caucasian for the most part really running up to black folks saying, man, did you see how they stormed the Capitol? No, they don't want to talk about that because they're embarrassed. You know why? Because white privilege has just been seen across the United States of America plus the world. Now the world like, damn, y'all just let these white folks take over y'all Capitol and y'all ain't do shit? But y'all out here killing black folks with impunity just for showing a cell phone? So that should let you know. And they was helping motherfuckers down the stairs when the protest was all over with. Shaking hands and shit. Let me tell you something. The FBI knew what the fuck was going on. Homeland Security knows what the fuck is going on. Let's just be mindful that the person who ran the FBI, who coined the term COINTELPRO, was J. Edgar Hoover, a cross-dressing Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner motherfucker who had a disdain for black folk and practiced anti-black racism every chance he got. And if you go read this book, I need y'all right now, go read this book. Now this book right here, I show it all the time. All the motherfucking time. I show this book. The Burglary. I show it all the time. There you go. The Burglary. By Betty Metzger, or whatever the fuck her name is. The discovery of J. Edgar Hoover's secret FBI. Now, let me tell you something. It's the book of Eli like a motherfucker. But nigga, I read this motherfucker because it was so interesting. Let me tell you why it was so interesting. Because she basically breaks down what he did, because she took interviews from people that actually broke into the FBI building. It was white folks who outsmarted the FBI, broke in there, got their files, and made copies of the motherfuckers and put them shits out there. You got to read the book. It's a great book. Only person I really know, I remember his name is Keith Forsyth because he was the nigga that picked the lock. He had to learn how to pick the lock. Oh man, they took their time. They studied the FBI. They were patient. They didn't run their mouth. Man, they didn't go, well, there was no social media there, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have done it. They wasn't telling everybody in the neighborhood, hey, we about to break into the FBI building. No, they just did it. Just like white folks. White folks put it out there, oh, we gonna break in the FBI. We gonna storm the Capitol because they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care because they know ain't shit gonna happen to them anyway. Let me tell you why ain't shit gonna happen to them. Well, Warren, what was the difference between those people that broke in the FBI building and the people that stormed the Capitol? The people that broke into the FBI building aired out the FBI's dirty laundry on anti-black racism. That's why J. Edgar Hoover was looking for their asses. But you see, they stormed the Capitol, ain't shit happened. They even shot a motherfucker, killed the bitch, and some more shit. They ain't done shit. And then everybody, I'm tired of all these black folk acting so surprised. What y'all surprised at? A nigga walked up on the garage, and a dude was holding his cell phone and dumped on him like 3 or 4 times, didn't render no aid. And then when the other police came up, she didn't render no aid either. And then he called for the ambulance. By the time the ambulance got, he was dead. And then they wanted to fire him on the spot because he blatantly showed his anti-black racism. See, every time I call the police, please believe it, somebody's going to jail or somebody's getting killed. They're not finna just come out to no call just on no GP. They tired of that shit, especially when it's some nigga shit. Because they're programmed to seek and destroy. I don't care what nobody say. They're socialized that way. So y'all niggas better wake the fuck up and understand exactly what the fuck is going on. Now, I'm about to play some audio so y'all can see exactly. We're not going to play no commercials, but we're going to see exactly what the fuck they talking about. And I'm very interested because, I didn't watch the whole thing, but as I watched, I was laughing. So we going to see it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Here, let me turn this music. Pause this music for a second. Now I'm about to play some audio. Now we about to listen.
This is looking at inside, or look at this, these protesters are inside Statuary Hall right now. You see the statues. This is a moment I never saw.
Not protest, it should be terrorists. They call Black Panthers terrorists. They call the Black Panther Party group a terrorist organization. Assata Shakur is still on the run technically because they can't extradite her from Cuba because of something allegedly she did. These people are on camera committing a terrorist act and nothing is happening. They don't even call them terrorists. They call them motherfucking protesters. The Black Panther Party just went to the state capital of California and stood outside with a gun. They call their asses a motherfucking terrorist organization.
My life, these individuals just rushed through security. They are inside Statuary Hall. This is a legendary place where all of us who've covered Capitol Hill, it's hard to believe what we're seeing right there. They're just walking through. Where are Capitol Police? It's an awful situation. They're having a good time.
See? And look at the police right there and they ain't saying shit to them. Nothing. Now, if this don't wake up every Sambo, Mammy, and Coon, then y'all motherfuckers are just lost. And y'all need an anti-Sambo, anti-Mammy motherfucking kid. That's what y'all need. Y'all need Sambo rehab and Mammy. Y'all need to go to a Mammy clinic, for real.
Statuary Hall. Jake Tapper, I don't know about you, but this is an incredibly dangerous situation that's unfolding here in the United States.
It's stunning, Wolf. It's absolutely stunning, and it's quite frankly dangerous. President Trump could stop this with one tweet.
You notice how they trying to blame Donald Trump. But this is my thing. Why are they trying to blame him? Why don't y'all blame those protesters that are doing something illegal like storming the Capitol and defacing government property and fucking getting into private government files? Why don't y'all go after them? Why y'all blaming Donald Trump? And then all these dumbass niggas like, man, see, Trump can stop it. That's the narrative that they pushing. Trump ain't got no control. Trump ain't forcing these people to go into the Capitol and act no fucking fool. These motherfuckers are doing it on their own. And dumb motherfuckers will go with the okie doke. Man, Donald Trump should have told them to stop. Man, stop it. So you mean to tell me Donald Trump said, I want all my people that voted for me, I want you to put the gun to your head and kill yourselves right now. These motherfuckers going to be like, nah, we not doing that shit. So stop. Stop trying to. Y'all notice every dominant society person that is for anti-black racism, they deflect by going at Trump, but they don't talk about the real issues of racism, white supremacy, they always talk about Trump. They always defer back to Trump. Oh, well, Trump this. Instead of just being like, well, you know what? If these were black folk, this wouldn't be going on. They would have already arrested everybody and almost shot and killed everyone if this was black folk. But ain't nobody saying nothing because they don't care. Hey, where's the Democratic Party at? Where's Joe Biden? I guess what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all them going to do is just blame Donald Trump. That's all they're going to do. And then when Donald Trump's out of office, they're going to keep blaming the Republicans. And keep blaming them and keep blaming. And then when niggas is getting killed with impunity and they ain't doing shit for niggas, they going to keep blaming Donald Trump and the Republicans.
But instead, he's on Twitter attacking Vice President Pence for refusing to go along with his attempt at a coup, at a bloodless coup. We hope it stays bloodless. And you have protesters accosting senators. You have people, members of Congress being evacuated because of bomb threats. You have protesters right outside the Senate chamber. It is a...
Now, you notice they said being accosted. Basically, motherfucker roughing up the motherfucking senators and shit, and the motherfucking congressmen ain't shit happening. This is what they doing. But motherfuckers think this shit is sweet. Man, stop.
A very potentially dangerous situation. I've been in Washington for decades now. I've never seen anything like this. And again, President Trump, if he wanted to, and
see, yet again. Now this is CNN. You notice, if he wanted to, man, President Trump does not control the minds. This is not fucking MK Ultra where he got all. No, these motherfuckers is doing that shit on their own. And why don't y'all just deal with them accordingly? No, they got it all roped off. The police is escorting. Oh yeah, you guys can go right here and protest. Man, stop.
There's really no reason to think he wants to. He could stop this. He could stop it with one tweet, and he will not because, frankly, he likes this.
No, y'all all like this. Stop acting like it's just him. See here, look, this is why I know everyone likes this. That's part of the dominant society. Because if they didn't, then why don't you, if you don't like black people so much, right, and you want order, why don't you just give us the money that we're deserving of? Why don't you give us the money that our forefathers, our ancestors, not George Washington and all them motherfuckers are not my forefathers. I'm talking about the people that built this country. Why don't you just give us the money that is owed to us and we'll leave y'all. We won't fuck with y'all no more. You don't have to worry about us coming late to work every day, you know, because they give us the stereotype that we always late. You don't have to worry about us being violent at the workplace when really the most volatile people at the workplace are Caucasian people. Going postal, that term was derived from white folks acting a fool at the post office. That ain't had shit to do with us. Just give us our bread and we're going about our way, man. Give us our reparations and we the fuck out of here.
By not discouraging what we are seeing, the president is encouraging what we are seeing. Just as he has in a much more over and over again with his tweets. Completely irresponsible. And this is...
What did I tell y'all? They gonna go at Trump and go at Trump and go at Trump and go at Trump. That's all they gonna do is go at Trump and go at Trump and go at Trump. I'm telling you. And that's all they gonna do.
Going on as we are seeing this unfold there.
Hold on, let me rewind. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Pepper spray has been deployed and so forth. So there are multiple security situations going on as we are seeing this unfold there in real time, this remarkable, unprecedented situation at the Capitol building.
The definition of sedition is to try to overturn the rule of law through force. And that is what we are witnessing. Trump supporters who have been lied to by Trump and his minions, individuals.
See, you know, look, I don't say vote for Trump, but you know, it's so lovely how you can look at the deflection and look at the white fragility and nobody's like, wow, the boldness of them to go and take over the Capitol and not even be worried about being harmed by Capitol Police. Well, because they're not going to do shit to them. Because they're on code. That's why. And that's why black folk need to take stock and inventory in this shit and look at it and be like, well, damn, they're not even doing shit to them. Then why the fuck why when we protesting on the street, these niggas is, I ain't seen no tear gas. I ain't seen no fucking flash bombs. I ain't seen none of that shit. Where's the riot gear at? Where's all that shit at? These motherfuckers walked in there with motherfucking guns and shit. But I don't see no riot gear. I don't see no tear gas. I don't see none of the things that they was doing every time we was protesting about somebody that was unarmed being unjustly killed by a race soldier. I never seen nothing, but they steady talking about that shit though. They steady talking about Donald Trump and how irresponsible he can be.
Like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, lied to by MAGA media, have been incensed and outraged, and they are now resorting to physically trying to storm the Capitol to stop the constitutional process of electors being counted for the person.
And the Constitution was written by anti-black racists, racism, white supremacy, and all the people, the minions that are a part of that system. That's who wrote that. It was never meant for niggas. It was meant for them. That's why Caucasians can go to the Capitol, act a fool, shoot and kill somebody. You notice they ain't got no suspect who shot and killed that lady. None of that, which I don't give a fuck no way. It ain't none of my people. And then I saw in the crowd, you saw the sprinkle of niggas there. I'm like, what the fuck is niggas doing there? They don't even fuck with niggas. Y'all better get the fuck away from them people. Because they'll kill you with impunity and then they gonna go on about their way. Let they ass act for white on white crime. Let that keep going. Let them have a civil war and tear each other down and do all this good for them. And if they knew it was gonna come, good for them anyway. That ain't our problem. See, that's the problem. That's, I feel like, our biggest stumbling block with black folk. We so busy worried about choosing a side with white folk. No, I'm not choosing no master. Look, as Nelly Fuller Jr. teaches, when you see two white folks arguing, if they're not trying to replace the system of racism and white supremacy, just let them argue. Don't get in between that shit. Just let them argue. They just arguing to be arguing. Then they're arguing basically to see who's the biggest slave master. They're not arguing to replace the system of racism and white supremacy and establish a system of justice. If those Trump supporters that are at the Capitol are not arguing and fighting with the people about replacing the system of racism and white supremacy and establishing a system of justice, then why the fuck is niggas worried about this shit? Niggas is like really taking a side, like, man, that's what the Democrat. I'm like, why the fuck are y'all jumping on the Democrat? They don't even give a fuck about y'all at all.
Who won the election? Joe Biden, the president-elect. That is what's going on. That is what we are witnessing. And there are a lot of people who are complicit in this. It will not succeed. Joe Biden will be.
Yeah, you are part of being complicit with it too, my brother. All y'all, all you left-wingers and all you motherfuckers that got every black person thinking that because they are Democrat that things are better for them. No, things are not better for you because you are a fucking demon-crat. That shit is not better for you. That is damn near worse for you. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden already first of all, they didn't leak no audio footage. They put that shit out there on purpose, and they left certain things out. And then when you try to go recover the audio, they leave certain things in, certain things out. First of all, Joe Biden ain't doing shit for no niggas. If he didn't do nothing for us or speak up for us when Obama was in office, then why the fuck is he gonna do that now? Joe Biden is worried about Joe Biden and the people that look like him. That's why he never went back to the Breakfast Club. Y'all notice I keep bringing that up? He went on the Breakfast Club because his people know, hey, Charlamagne, the guy and them, they got a large following. They got 3, 4, 5 million people that watch them. Let's go on there. This could be a big impact for you. And then when Charlamagne the God was like, hey, man, you don't think your drug laws and those mandatory minimums and all that in the 94 crime bill was hurtful to black folks? No, it wasn't. Black folks wanted that bill. He was so arrogant about it. Then he was like, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, Charlamagne. Oh, his time is up. And I said, that motherfucker ain't gonna never come back on there no more. And I'm still waiting. Never seen him back on there again. So I don't know why we so busy wanting to attack. See, they want to give you, I would say, a faceplate of what they want you to believe white supremacy is. Donald Trump is the faceplate. He's the imagery and the symbolism behind racism. And then Joe Biden, he's the white Jesus. He's Cesare. He's there to save us. But let black folks think that. You can't. Certain black folks that's probably 50 and up, they don't get it, man. And then you wasting your time arguing with them. Just sit back, and then after 4 years of them not doing shit, and they come back to black folk asking for their vote again because they want to stay in office, and they give you the same bullshit lie about we had to clean up what Donald Trump messed up the whole time. Well, I'll tell you this. Donald Trump was the main one saying, well, why don't y'all just give them the $2,000 that they need? $600 ain't enough. Them Republicans was like, fuck them niggas. No, we ain't doing that shit. And then the whole time, I never really heard a whole bunch of Democrats talking about, hey, man, people need more than $600. No, they like, fuck that. they just kind of hid behind Donald Trump shit, just like right now. I don't see not one Democrat come out and say, wow, if those were black folk, they would be shot and killed. Nobody has said that.
Sworn in on January 20th. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, if you're Josh Hawley or Ted Cruz or Matt Gaetz or either of the Murdochs, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing?
Well, what are you doing? Man, y'all got to look at that shit, man. What are you doing? That's why, man, you have to, when you're watching things like this, you got to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? You have to understand that shit. And you need to understand what's going on. Here, I'm going to try to play some more audio. You know what I mean? But we have to understand what's going on. And what's going on is it's a shit show for white folk. And now white folk are so busy trying to blame Donald Trump, but at the end of the day, he don't give a fuck about that shit. He going to be rich when he get in there. He going to be wealthy when he get the fuck out of there. He don't give a fuck about that shit. I'm telling you. At all. He don't care about that shit. Let me see if I can find some more audio. Let's see what, because I don't give a fuck. Let's see. Oh, that's just, yeah, no, they're not talking about nothing. That's why you gotta look at that, man. You have to look at that. And I think that a lot of people, in my honest opinion, I think a lot of people are just kind of shocked this is going on, and they just want it to go away.
Mayor Muriel Bowser is now ordering a 6 p.m. curfew in Washington, D.C. Because of these protests, which have turned violent. Individuals who have been fed lies, as you noted.
You notice he keeps saying who have been fed lies. Y'all stole the election just like Bush did in 2000. Stop it. And you got the Pine Sol lady and her mammy sister to help y'all cover the shit up. And then that bitch thought she was going to win something and then win a motherfucking thing. And this is what happens. I don't understand why y'all think this shit is going to change. This shit ain't going to never change. Period.
Now storming the Capitol to try to stop the constitutional process. Please continue.
And just to be clear, President Trump has tweeted in the last few minutes, but he has said nothing to disavow this,
no,
to
he's
tone down
on the
violence. Exactly. In fact, he has been upping the rhetoric against Mike Pence.
You know, and look, I come on my own theory. I think Donald Trump, I think the Republicans was like, fuck it. If he win, he win. We don't give a fuck. We're going to regroup and figure out what the Democrats going to do, and then we're going to study them, and then in 4 years, we'll get somebody that's right to compete with them. I think this is what they thought. That's why they just kind of let Donald Trump go with it. I really think a lot of the Republicans didn't think he was going to win, especially the way he was talking. And then when the nigga won, when he actually won, they was like, oh, shit. That's why they didn't even really know what to do, because this guy is not a career politician. Everybody makes it seem like Donald Trump has been in politics for 40 years. First of all, he's probably an independent, because one minute he was a Republican, next minute he was a Democrat. You know, you don't know what he's going to be on the side of what's going to enhance and fatten up his pockets. And I'm not mad at him, because that's what really the game is about. Motherfuckers will look at a black Republican and be like, oh, man, he's a black Republican. And then, oh, he's a Democrat. He's a black Democrat. Cool. And that nigga could be a Sambo. And then the black Republican might be just a motherfucker that's voting Republican to save his pockets. That's fine. I ain't with none of those motherfuckers, because ain't none of them talking about cutting no check for black folk. And I don't understand how they can go get $600 for all these people, including immigrants who are in the United States of America working under a visa and all this other bullshit, who did not build this country. But when it comes time for black folk, you don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't understand how that works. That's one. I also don't understand this. I don't understand how the Republican Party could say, hey, Dr. Claude Anderson, we want to talk to you. Hey, Cube, we want to listen to your plan. It may not be something, but we just kind of want to listen to it. And the Democratic Party is like, well, we'll talk to you after the election. Well, the election is over with. Why Cube ain't got no call? Because they don't give a fuck. Cube is looked at as a divisive, threatening nigga to them. They don't want to deal with him. They don't want to deal with Dr. Claude Anderson. They don't want to deal with no real black economic leaders that really could tell them and put together an economic plan that will be beneficial for black folk. And I'm tired of everybody talking about, he the president for all people.
And that is it's beyond irresponsible. He has a responsibility. These are his supporters. They're carrying Trump flags.
Okay, those are his supporters. Well, Ed Buck is a Democratic supporter, but he didn't have no problem killing all them Moist brothers, and y'all ain't say shit about them. It's like 2 or 3 motherfucking niggas, Moist niggas, found dead in his apartment, overdosed on motherfucking crystal meth and shit. Just so happened to be overdosed on some drugs, and they just happened to be dead in his apartment every single time. Now, he's a Democratic donor, and he supports the Democratic Party, so why ain't nobody check him? Why ain't nobody pull his coattail? Why ain't nobody pull Bill Clinton's coattail for being in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein and his little bitch as she giving him a massage? Why did nobody check him and be like, hey, man, you can't speak at the DNC this time. We can't have that here, man. We didn't know you had that. Nah, man, you can't. Nope, they let him speak. It was like that shit never fucking happened. Never at all. But all of a sudden, they trying to be like, well, he's responsible for all those people. No, man. Please. Racism and white supremacy is responsible for those Trump supporters. Racism and white supremacy is responsible for the Democratic supporters as well. You know, the people that love Barack Obama because he's very articulate and he speaks well, and he's not your typical Negro that is going to question authority and question the system and think outside the box. That's all that shit is.
So he could say to them, stop, back away, don't do this, and he won't do it.
We are watching an attempted sedition. We are watching an attempt at a bloodless coup in the United States. Trump supporters stopping the constitutional process, the counting of electors. The mayor has invoked.
You know that they stopping the constitutional process, just stopping it, and he could do whatever to quell the storm and calm them down because they're just so out of control. Not once have they called these white folk vigilantes, terrorists, domestic terrorists. Where the fuck is the FBI at? Where is everyone at? I don't get it. I just don't understand. But they call the Black Panthers a terrorist organization, as J. Edgar Hoover called it, seeking to destroy the next black messiah, COINTELPRO, as he got in between Malcolm X and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Oh, we want to know what Elijah Muhammad has got planned. Damn, everybody want to know what Elijah Muhammad had planned. Like I told you before, no, I'm not a part of the Nation of Islam, but let me tell you something. That is a well-respected organization and religious group. Why you say that, Warren? Because don't nobody fuck with they asses, and can't nobody fuck with them on that fucking knowledge part of the game too, because them niggas are very educated and they ain't walking around. They're not walking zombies and shit. They don't know what the fuck is going on. And like I said before, they talk so much shit about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but they never call him a liar. They just say he's anti-Semitic, but they never say he's a liar. So that's another reason why I hold them in great regard, because they never say that they're lying. They just say he's anti-Semitic. Just like these people. You keep saying that Donald Trump is lying to them and lying to them. Lying to them about what? Tell them what they lying about. Put it all out there. What is he lying about? Oh, how y'all stole the election? Stop.
The 6 p.m. curfew. More police reinforcements are coming to Capitol Hill. Let's go now to Brian Todd, who is on the scene. Brian, where are you and what are you seeing?
Jake, we're on the east side of the Capitol, the east front, the east steps, and you see that huge group of protesters on the...
You notice they keep calling them protesters. You notice that shit, hey, you ain't lying. Drop it to a speaker of jewelry. Speak of jewelry, watch the hidden hand. Zionist bloodsuckers definitely plotting. Oh, yeah. Hidden hand is very good. They didn't even label KKK as a terrorist group. What the fuck? You ain't lying. Yeah, you notice they didn't know. Look, let's just get this straight, man. We gonna put this out there right now. Look, what happened to our brother Nick Cannon was not no fluke. That was by design. They loved Nick Cannon. As long as Nick Cannon didn't speak in opposition of their belief system. That's why they loved him to death. And once he spoke in opposition, then they got pissed off. But then when he started quoting books and showing the books, I think what he should have done was he should have let Professor Griff talk, and he should have let Professor Griff go down that hole, and he should have let Professor Griff put up the books where he got it from, and then he should have done more like an interview and been like, hey, man, so Oh, so you got the information from these books, huh? So is this where these people could get that information? Okay, no problem. Because look, this channel is not about one-sidedness. This is about knowledge. Is there any other books that could combat these books? And you like, well, what do you mean? You know why? Because then it would have been open-ended, and they could have never done that to him. But what they did was they put that tag of, oh, that's anti-Semitic and all this other stuff. And no diss, but a lot of us, I think, not Nick Cannon, but a lot of us, they fatten us up like pigs for the slaughter. They fatten us the fuck up. They give us the big fat checks. That's why the most of the motherfuckers that you see in Hollywood, they moist as fuck. And not just that, they are controlled. Steven from Django's, Sambo's, tell them about the Gunline Boss. These are not free thinkers that are like, you know what? It's about my people. It's not about my ego. And everybody got an ego, but that's why Hollywood works the way it works. It works the way it works is because they know, well, we can just racial showcase confuse. We can give one nigga the nigga trinkets and then, hey, you better not go against us. We'll take that from you. You'll be back in the projects, fucking Tyrone. You know what I mean? And niggas don't be want to go back to the project. It's just like working your corporate plantation job. You ain't trying to lose your shit over some bullshit. So a lot of times niggas will take positions and do things, and then when they hit you for the woo-wah, you're like, damn, but you already in it. So what the fuck you gonna do? Because it's survival of the fittest. You gotta feed your family. I think Nick Cannon knew better. Yeah, Nick Cannon knew better. I just think Nick Cannon probably thought that those people wasn't gonna do that to him. That's all.
You can also see some Capitol Hill police on the balcony to the side. They don't appear to have the numbers to deal with this right now, but they're donning riot gear.
They don't have the numbers to deal with this. These people been talking about acting a fool ever since the goddamn voting election process, and they stole that shit. Trump supporters been talking about we gonna tear that motherfucker up come January, whatever, woo-woo. January 6th, we gonna tear that motherfucker up. And why is everybody acting like they didn't say that? They did. Everybody was talking about that shit. They gonna protest. And it's so funny. I think back, they took over the Capitol. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that is the head speaker and the leader of the Nation of Islam, had a 1 million-man march on the U.S. Capitol. 1 million black folk, no violence, no shooting, no killing, no nothing. Wow. As they say, look at God, right? Isn't that wonderful that the Nation of Islam did a 1 million-man march under the direction and leadership and guide of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and nobody got hurt? But they took a 200 or 300 motherfucking KKK terrorist motherfuckers who stormed the Capitol, and they just letting them do it. They just let them do it. Like, go ahead, man. Stop.
We saw some smoke deployed earlier. Not sure exactly how that started, but you can see the Capitol. There are some Capitol Hill police up there, probably awaiting orders on what to do. And we are told that there are reinforcements coming from different law enforcement up here, but they are not here yet. I can tell you that. There was a group of DC police, 20 or so, that.
Exactly, and we already know how we already know how that goes. We already know how that goes. We know how that's gonna end. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to understand that. Oh, and you know what? Let's get on that. Because I got love for Nick Cannon. I got love for our brother Nick Cannon. Honestly, it was a good ploy to keep his image reoccurring, especially upon the conscious community. So many agents. I personally like Nick, but he still got some weird Hollywood ties. Look, let me tell you something. This is just my perspective. I'm not saying that I'm correct. This is just my perspective. And y'all know I always talk about the core plantation. Nick Cannon is a likable guy by blacks, whites, every racial group. He's not the type of guy, from what I've seen watching him for 20-something years. He just doesn't seem like one of those type of guys where he's a bully. He seems like he gives everybody a fair shake. And I feel like he's a very admirable and honorable dude in business. You can just tell. Nobody says no. You notice no niggas ever say nothing shiesty about Nick Cannon. No niggas, no white people, no nothing. Nothing. Like, Nick Cannon, to me, is one of those people that we have to hold in high regards too, because he has been able to maneuver throughout Hollywood and make sure his people is paid and give other people opportunities. So that's what I love about Nick Cannon. But what I think is I think they loved Nick Cannon so much because in their mind, he was such a safe Negro. And I think they thought that he was just going to want to fuck hoes and chill and do Nickelodeon and take the money that they give him and never raise his consciousness. That's what I personally believe. And I think that's why they was just giving him all kinds of bread and making sure he was good and making sure his name was good in their eyes and in their image, making sure his imagery was good because he wasn't oppositional yet of their belief system. And when I mean their belief system, I mean the dominant white society. You know, the white Jewish community, right? So with that being said, I think along the way, as you get older and you have a good core of people around you, like I think Nick Cannon does, I think motherfuckers start putting books in his hand and like, man, you should check this out. You check that. And you notice he started to shift a lot of the way his mind was thinking. But Nick never stopped helping his people. That's what you gotta love about Nick. Nick has gave so many people opportunities. So you can't be mad at him about that. And I think that they, meaning the dominant white society, white Jewish folk, they are so genius and when I mean genius, they're so genius and sinister in the way of how they will fatten you up and make you feel like you have more authority and power than you really do. When really they're the unseen hand. They're pulling the strings the whole time. It's like a corporate plantation. And it's like this, when you at your job, if they love you and you're not a threat and you're not in opposition of their belief system, oh, they're going to fatten you up. They're going to give you the keys to the city. You're going to be able to come and do what you want to do. But the minute you speak in opposition of that belief system, they're going to slap you down. They're going to slap you down. And that's what we saw. And I think Nick kind of should have knew a little better, but I really think that Nick Cannon was just zealous, you know, not overzealous, but very zealous and happy about the knowledge he came into. And I didn't think he probably really felt like he was going to offend people by the books that he read because, you know, the Quran says study to the cradle to the grave. And not just that, you want to study everything. So here, what's not to say that he would study the white Jewish community's history and say, hey, well, this history says this. You got to know everything. But I think he just got caught up in a jam as far as studying and gaining knowledge of himself. And I think they caught him in a situation where they had all the leverage. And they used that leverage to slap him down. And I think it embarrassed him. And I think it embarrassed black folk because when black folks found out he didn't own Wild 'N Out, I think black folks were so pissed off. But it's like, but if you were in that same situation, you would have been doing the same thing. Straight up, you would have been doing the same thing. Motherfuckers act like, oh, if that was me, man, I would have. Nah, stop. Not necessarily. And and 44 laws of power. and let me tell you why before I get up out of here. Because everyone can say that until they're handed that opportunity. Motherfuckers be talking this all for my people, all my people, and then all it takes is the right relationship to come along. And you will flip mode as the squad. You flip mode the squad on your own family. I done seen motherfuckers flip on their own fucking family just so they can live a better life for themselves. So with that being said, you got to give him props for not flipping on his people, but trying to help his people. And two, would you be thinking about them flipping on you if they're always showing you love, showing your family love? You got the keys to the city. You never without money. You Gucci. You can start pilots for shows. They give you the money right away. Then they give you money and they give you enough money to take care of your family. Everybody can say that shit until they're presented that opportunity. Then when you're presented that opportunity, that's when it'll show the true testament of your character. So motherfuckers, the only thing I think black folk were really disappointed with is that he didn't own Wild 'N Out. I think that was the only thing we were really disappointed with. All that other shit, his apology and all that, I wasn't really tripping off that. Because I kind of knew like, well, it's like a nigga at your job. If you say some fucked up shit at your job and somebody go tell on you, you're going to recant and walk back those statements because you need that job. So I think in a lot of the sense, black folk are so quick to be like, Nick Cannon, but it's like, okay, let's flip it. I've did this to several people. Okay, well, let's flip it. Okay, you work at your job right now, right? Yeah. You work at your job right now. And somebody asks you something, and you like, well, nah, whoop. And it's contrarian to the belief system at that job. You're not thinking that your supervisor or the people that's in charge is going to be like, well, if you don't walk back that shit, you fired. And if they come to, if it comes to that, you're going to walk back those statements, especially if that job is paying you a 6-figure salary. You're not going to be like, well, fuck that. I'm walking out on integrity. That takes a lot of guts, a lot of testicular fortitude, a lot of mental toughness, and it takes a little bit, I would say, some modicum of selfishness. You know what I'm saying? And you like, what do you mean? You have to be very selfish to do that. Why? Because what if you're paying a whole bunch of people up under you? Then what do you tell them? Well, fuck y'all. I didn't want to do that shit. So y'all niggas on your own because I'm walking out on principle. Them niggas gonna be like, nigga, fuck your principle, nigga. I've been eating off this. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to look at all the sides when you're dealing with black folk. I just think we so quick to go real hard at each other, but not really look at it from... And it really does take a person that's worked at a corporate plantation to really understand it. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to agree with it. This is not about agreeing. It's about having an understanding. They never cancel these white folks programs. They only make them apologize. That's a fact. Oh, I agree with... Look. Oh, we on the same page, my G. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, and you know what? They're never going to cancel those. They're never going to cancel them. You know why? Because they're on code. This is the dominant white society's fucking video game. This is their matrix. So we got to know the social game rules. And that's what it is. So we got to look at it in totality. That's why I'm laughing at Stacey Abrams. You and your mammy sister, y'all did all this, hold up the bloodstained banner for the Democratic Party, and you lost. She not even the governor. Bitch, you thought you was going to be the governor? Nope. Bitch, you the pine saw lady. We just going to continue for you to be the imagery and face for Georgia, but they don't give a fuck about her. So we got to understand what it is, man. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening and subscribing. You already know what it is. Hey, man, just keep watching it, keep reading, keep studying. Look at the people around you when you at the core plantation. Understand exactly what the fuck they on. Let people come to you about this shit. Y'all notice a lot of white folk, they don't want to talk about them storming the Capitol and taking over the shit and shooting the shit because it's embarrassing to them and they know it's a double standard. So they don't even want to talk to black folk. It's so funny, ain't nobody bring this shit up to me. You know why? Because these white folk right now, yep, you right. They 100% on code. That's a fact. But hey, man, shout out to Nuke. Shout out to Shawnee, Wendy, Josh, everybody that be listening. Y'all already know what it is, man. Hey, remember this. We can't do what they do because this is not our system. And to all you dumbass niggas and to all you misinformed black folk that's voted, you thought you had a friend because now the Democratic Party is not nominating and giving black folk all these jobs that they thought they was going to get. Now niggas is getting mad. But that's what you get. That's why you leverage your vote, as Dr. Clyde Anderson talks about. Quid pro quo, something for something. If you don't get anything, you shouldn't be participating. Because every other racial group does it that way. And the ones that are a part of different racial groups that don't do it that way, they're just misinformed too. Because that's what politics are about. It's about something for something. It's not about, well, I like him, so I'm going to vote for him. Fuck all. I don't got to like you to do business with you. Oh, yeah, you do. No, you don't. You go to work every day, and these dominant white society people treat you like shit and talk crazy to you and know that if you say something crazy, that you're fired. So I don't want to hear that shit. People so ignorant, man. Like, people don't even study history. So how can you have a productive conversation with them when you gotta teach them? I didn't want to go there, man. And it is very difficult. But you know what? Let me tell you something. Before I get here, let me tell you this. When you're dealing with someone, first, take stock and inventory of who they are. Just don't be nosy. Just take stock and inventory of who they are, what they about. What do they talk about? If they talking about video games and movies and all that, then you kind of know where their mind is at. And then maybe they might not get that deep. Let them take you down a rabbit hole. But if they come to you questioning you or being kind of facetious about things, you might have to educate them. But for the most part, it's very difficult, especially when you're dealing with black folk, because black folk don't want to hear nothing that's empowering to them. They just don't. They look at you upside your head. Sometimes I go out of my way to look at black folk like that. They look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, brother, I'm just saying, what's up, man? Sister, hey, what's going on, sister? They treat you all fucked up and act off. And I be tripping off that shit like, damn. But you know what? We're socialized to do that to each other. Look at each other's clothes and shoes and, did he cut his hair and all this other shit? And I just be looking at people like, but y'all know we at the bottom of the list, right? You know what I mean? But a lot of the things is this. Black folks are socialized to go to school to get a good job. And then you go to school, you get that degree, you get your student loans, you get your good job. Then you spend damn near all your life paying off your student loans and paying off your mortgage and cars that you can't afford, for you to get a certain age, for you to get an illness, and then for them to usher you into that medical system, for you to end up checking out of here. That's basically what it is. And then for black folk, it's even 10 times faster because now you're working harder, you're stressing out even more because not only are you competing with other racial groups, you're competing with your own people. So you can't even look to your left and right because you don't know who's on your team because you're competing with your own people. And then you got the immigrant coons that come over here that will scream to the high heavens about their nationality, but will not talk anything about their ethnicity when it comes to dealing with native or foundational black Americans. That's a fact. Yeah, he right. And I'll tell you this, man. It is not your job to teach the dominant white society what anti-black racism is. They know what it is. It is our job for people that have a lending ear and are questing for knowledge to holler at him. It's a brother that I work with at the Core Plantation. It's a couple brothers. One brother, I was talking to him because he always see me read books sometimes. And I had the world's great men of color. I had this book right here. I had this book by J.A. Rogers, World's Great Men of Color. So I had that book. So he's like, damn, what's that book about? And I was like, oh, man, I was kind of breaking it down about different black folk and what they did. And then he was like, yeah, I saw you reading another book too. He's like, man, you stay reading. I was like, man, I'm still learning. I always use that nearly full of line. And I was talking to him about stuff and he was like, yeah, man, knowledge is crazy, man. Cause, let other people tell it, history is only a certain way and the Greeks is this. And I started talking to him about the Moors and all this other stuff. And this is how I knew he was paying attention. He comes back to me not even a week later. It was like, yo, bro, I was doing some research on the Moors. Like, those dudes were dope, man. They was knowledgeable, woo, woo, woo. He was like, man, then I watched this movie, Maleficent. He was like, man, the first thing I thought about you when it was like Maleficent, Queen of the Moors. He was like, oh, shit. Man, this dude was telling me about this shit at work. And, oh, man, he was like, bro, man, he was like, that's crazy how they'll encode that and put that in the movie. And I was like, yeah. And I ended up watching it because I didn't want to watch it at first because I didn't even really know what it was about. Then when you told me about it, I watched it and I said, wow, they were making iron bullets and the iron bullets was the only thing that could really hurt Maleficent. And iron was like the most biggest, I would say, resource that the Moors, the Africans, they had and they used. And they learned how to use it way before any other racial group. But they were so ahead of their time and we was chopping it up and he was like, man, it's just good to know your history. And it's true. Motherfuckers don't want to know their history. This is what motherfuckers want to know. Gucci, Louis, Fendi, and Versace. And that's fine. Let them people learn that. You just focus on the people that are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? Great minds think alike. So if you know people that read books, ask them what books they read. Chop it up with them. Who gives a fuck what race they are? Because let me tell you something. You ask a black person to read a book, for the most part, a lot of niggas be looking at you upside your head. I be like, God damn. Oh, yeah, I thought that movie had some truth to it. Maleficent, yeah. And I heard about it, but I never paid attention to it. I just never paid attention to it. And then when I started talking to this brother about the Moors, he was like, yo, bro, man, Angelina Jolie's character, she's the queen of the Moors, bro. He was like, that shit's crazy. And she wears all black. And they was so crazy and so afraid of her. But I'm telling you, man, these are just things we got to know, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Warren. Hey, peace. Have a blessed night, bro. Warren, I was just reading up on the Black Emperor of Rome. Dude was cold. Hey, what's the name of that book before you get out of here? The Black Emperor of Rome. Is that the name of the book? Hey, sorry, man. We hood over here. So whoever listening, sorry, man. But when a nigga start talking about a book, I got to listen to that shit. Because, nigga, I'm trying to have a cold-ass collection of books. I ain't trying to be no nigga on here talking about, man, you need to read. And nigga be like, man, I went over Septimus, what's his name? What's the name of the book, bro? Yeah, because I'm trying to get knowledge, man. And the reason why I'm saying this is I want a nigga to be like, I want y'all niggas to talk to one of my family members, be like, man, that nigga be reading? Shit, that nigga only got 2 books at his house. So, hold on, let me see. The Black Emperor of Rome. Let me see. The Black Emperor. Let me see. Rome. Books. Let me see if I can find it. The Black Ancient Roman Emperors. Okay, I found one book. Let me know. His name is Septimus or whatever. Well, hey, man. I'm telling you right now, reading is fundamental. And I found one book. It's called Black Origins of Ancient Rome and Black Roman Emperors by Gert Muller. Let me know what the name of that book is, bro. The book that you read. Now, I want to read the book that you're reading. I definitely want to read that book, man. But, hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening and subscribing. Hey, you know what it is. Look at things with an open mind, open heart. Obtain and ascertain as much knowledge as you can. And don't trip off the bullshit, man. Love, live life. And if you around a Sambo or tell him about the gun line boss, tell that nigga, guilty nigga. Hey, man, I'm out. Peace.